Hello and a very warm welcome to Political Economy with Shweta Pooj. This week we are looking at the state of Maharashtra. The state goes to polls on November 20th. This is being touted as a very significant election because it will set the tone of politics and economics for the rest of the country. Again, a very, very complicated state because there are multiple alliance partners involved. At the moment, in power is the Mahayuti alliance, which is led by the BJP, and it has Mr. Eknath Shinde led Sena and the Ajit Pawar led NCP. In the opposition is Mahavikas Agadi, which has the Congress and the Sharad Pawar led NCP. Plus, we have UBT, which is the Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena UBT. Well, these are the alliance. These are the big political parties in the fray. This is also an election which will determine the political fortunes of some very critical leaders, including Mr. Sharad Pawar, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, and of course, like every election, this will also be seen as a verdict on Prime Minister Modi, on Mr. Amit Shah, and of course, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Will Rahul Gandhi be able to steer the Congress party towards another victory? This is also a state that had voted in greater numbers for the alliance partners, for the opposition alliance partners, and which is why there is a lot of talk around which way the political winds will blow. To understand and to decode this state, I have with me Mr. Sanjay Kumar of CSDS. He's a political scientist who has studied India's polity for decades. So I am hoping to understand and defog some of the political and key issues that are really going to be determining the Maharashtra elections. Sanjay ji, a very warm welcome. Sanjay ji, let me begin by asking you. Maharashtra is such a complicated state, so much so that it's difficult for us to even remember the names of the alliances. You have the Mahayuti alliance, which is the ruling alliance, and then you have the MVA. These are the just for the audiences also who are listening to us. I want to begin by asking you. Does it look like what we saw in the Lok Sabha elections, where we saw the opposition actually gain seats in Maharashtra? Do we see that getting repeated in the assembly polls? Is that something that you're expecting?
I have no idea whether the results of 2024 Lok Sabha elections will get repeated in 2024 Assembly elections or not. Yes, if you look at the results of 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the Maharashtra Vikas Agadi, which is the opposition alliance, if we see in terms of the party which is in power in the state, they performed extremely well. Beyond expectations of many people, beyond the expectation of even, I would say, some of the political parties. They performed very well in terms of number of seats. They won 30. And on the other hand, the Mahayuti Gadbandhan won only 17 seats. So what is happening is that many of us, analysts, journalists, and maybe some others, we are looking at the performance of Maharashtra Vikas Agadi in 2024 Lok Sabha election. And if we look at the number of seats, we tend to believe that this alliance is much stronger on the ground as of now compared to the Mahayuti alliance. But I think we need to also look at the vote share estimates, because if you look at the vote share, which is an indication of the support base of parties. So if you look at the two alliances vote share in 2024 Lok Sabha election, they are almost neck to neck. It's only a difference of less than 1% vote. And we know at times seats can get converted in a very strange manner with similar number of votes. So I don't think, in my opinion, it's not a like win-win situation for Maharashtra Vikas Agadi. It is a close contest at this moment.
Interesting. So, what you're saying is what one has been hearing, that it is a close contest. And yesterday, October 29th, is when the nominations for the seats have closed now. And we have about 8,000 candidates in the fray. I wanted to get a sense from you on, what are the caste dynamics really looking like when you look at the seat allocations. Also, one was hearing, at least in Delhi, that a lot of the seat allocations, at least from the BJP's point of view, have also happened from Delhi. Not so there was this whole a brewing discontent on ground, but I think that was taken care of. So I want to get a sense from you on the caste dynamics of the state, Sanjay ji, and how have different fractions voted in the past, and which particular community or which particular caste would be crucial for for a political party to win the election.
Uh, See, we did a pre-poll survey by end of September and early October.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say the election is very close, the two alliances are neck to neck, because if I look at the voters belonging to different caste communities, they are also more or less equally divided. If I look at
Mhm.
Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi turned out to be, when we did the survey, very popular among the Muslim voters, very popular among the Neo-Buddhists. Also, if I look at voters in terms of class, so they had a huge lead over Mahayuti in terms of popularity among the poor voters and the lower classes of voters. But if I look at the other Mahayuti alliances, so Mahayuti alliance was more popular among the Marathas, slightly more popular among the Dalits, among the Adivasis. The Vikas Aghadi was more popular, but among the Dalits, it is Mahayuti which is more popular. The Kunbi vote, which is a very sizable number of votes in Maharashtra, they play an important role in various constituencies. They were divided for more or less equally for both the alliances. If I look at the upper caste largely with BJP, and that is what gives Mahayuti and lead over Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi among the upper caste vote. So if I look at the various caste communities which are in sizable number, the Adivasis, the Dalits, the Marathas, Kunbis, so these communities are divided. So that also is an indication how close this election is turning out to be at this moment. But I think we
Mhm.
keep calling about what may be an X factor in this election. I think the X factor is going to be the rebels, the others, because
Right.
as of now, while we know that there is still 5 or 6 days left for withdrawal of candidates, that might happen. But at this moment, there are news that more than 150, 160 rebels have already filed their nomination. So that's going to play a very important role in how things turn in the coming weeks.
Right. So the rebels, we've seen this is the state where Operation Lotus was also carried out very successfully, and how crucial are these rebels going to be, Sanjay ji, and how do you see both the whether it's the MVA, whether it's the Mahayuti alliance, how do you see them really tackling this, because this is going to be very, very crucial, as you pointed out. This is going to be the X factor.
See, the rebels are a problem of a oversized coalition. When I say
Mhm.
oversized coalition, look at there are three important political parties on both the alliances. Imagine if BJP was contesting alone all the seats, then there would have been lesser number of rebels for BJP. Imagine
Right.
similarly, Sindhe's group of Shiv Sena was contesting elections alone in all the 288 seats. The rebels would have been less. But since the the seats has to be divided between the three alliance partner on each side, and the total number of seats remains the same, 288. There are large number of aspirants for ticket, and that accounts for a very large number of rebels at this moment. So I don't think that many of these rebels will actually win election, and but I think a large number of rebels can be a spoiler for one or the other political party. Recently in Haryana, we have seen that there were roughly about 15 or 16 seats where Congress rebels actually damaged the prospects of Congress party, and
Right.
we
Right.
know how uh, you know people were expecting that Congress would do well, but these rebels, if rebels were not there, Congress rebels were not there, if they had not damaged the prospects of Congress candidate in 15, 16 seats, things may have been slightly different, because there were rebels on BJP sides as well. So I think something of that kind is coming up even in Maharashtra, large number of rebels, and the seats are going to be decided with maybe with smaller margins because of a very large number of rebels.
Right. So, which party or which alliance do you see really facing the brunt of the rebels? Because in
More
Haryana,
or
like,
less,
hmm,
at this moment, more or less equally. Maybe I think
okay,
the Congress may be having a more rebels, because imagine on one side you have BJP, which is contesting roughly, I think, 150, 155 to 156 seats.
right.
Congress at one point of time was aiming to contest at least 125, 130 seats, because Congress had hoped that the benchmark would be 2024 Lok Sabha election. And since they had performed, Congress party had performed very well in 2024, there would be more aspirants within the Congress party, and Congress party has been a bigger party in the state historically. So there were more aspirants within the Congress to contest elections. But Congress is finally contesting, I think, 102 seats. So there would be slightly larger number of rebels from Congress if I compare it with BJP, because BJP is contesting a much larger number of seats from the other alliance.
Okay. Talking about the big issues that have come up in this election, if you hear the speeches, you have Mr. Eknath Shinde, invoking the Marathi pride, and you hear what I'm trying to get at is that the tonality of both campaigns seem to be very similar. Do you see this as election as a verdict on Prime Minister Modi and Rahul Gandhi, or do you think that this is a very localized election?
I expect this election to be very localized. Marathi Smita, you have already talked about, that is going
Mm,
to be a big issue. So whatever may be the outcome, I would tend to believe that this is going to be a localized election. But yes, if you pick up one issue which is being raised by the Mahayuti alliance, especially the BJP, which is about the Hindu unity, that's the
that's
only thing which brings this election closer to a national issue or a national identity issue. Because
mm.
if we are talking about Hindus, it is not only about
So, but
Hindus of
does that
Maharashtra.
work in Maharashtra? Because they have invoked this card.
It would be very premature to say that whether it will work or not. But
Mm,
yes, this is a time tested, like a mobilizing strategy by BJP. Certainly, it will work. To what extent, we don't know. But
mm,
the counter to that is going to be the Marathi Smita, the caste identities. And if the opposition, the Maharashtra Vikas Agadi, is able to invoke the caste identity, if they are able to invoke the Marathi identity, if Uddhav Thackeray is able to invoke the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray, I think then this whole the narrative which BJP is trying to build, Hindu unite or Hindu should get united if they want to lead a better life, or if they want safety and security. So if Marathi Smita is invoked effectively by the Maharashtra Vikas Agadi, then this issue will have a lesser impact. But if they are not able to invoke the Marathi Smita, Marathi identity, then maybe this issue of Hindu unity may be looming large in the Maharashtra Assembly election.
Interesting. I also wanted to get a sense from you on how crucial, is this election. It's been spoken about as the election that will set the tone for the country, for the politics of this country, and it will also determine, how the alliance partners can negotiate. Considering we have coalition politics after a very long time in you. So just spell it out for us in terms of the significance of this election now,
I
Mr.
think
Kumar.
two important significance of this election. First, this Maharashtra is the second largest state in terms of number of parliamentary seats and number of assembly seats after UP. That is why this state has
Right.
become so important. Second, this is the first assembly election after the two major regional parties have witnessed a split in the state, NCP and Shiv Sena. So there is also a contestation. So there are three kinds of contest going on. First, for the which party, because we know officially the NCP led by Ajit Pawar and Shiv Sena led by the Shinde faction. These factions have been recognized as official parties, and the other factions has not been recognized as the official party. So the first, for NCP Sharad Pawar and for Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, it is an important point. It is an important election for them to re-establish or to lose this battle, whether this is the real Shiv Sena and real NCP, whether they have the symbol or not. So that's one reason why this election is important for these two regional parties. Second, within the alliances, if you look at, Ajit Pawar, Shinde, and BJP on one side, uh, this is a very strange election. You need your alliance partner to perform well, because if the alliance partner do not perform well, you will not be in a position to form the government. So the first target is to defeat the other alliance and form the government.
Sanjay
But
ji,
at the
can
same
I just
time,
come in 1 second? Sanjay ji, can I just
uh,
come in? Can I just come
yes,
in 1 second? Can you say that again? Because I think there was some network issue and your video froze. So you said that this is also a very different election. As in, I couldn't quite catch that. So if you could start from there.
yeah. So this election is a different. This is a different election in Maharashtra because there are two kinds of contest going on. First, the alliance partner wants to defeat the other alliance, because that will enable them to form the government. But at the same time, there is another contest going on. If you look at, there are three alliance partner within the three parties having an alliance within one alliance partner. So what happens is that uh, there is a contestation for the post of the chief minister. So the alliance partner want their alliance partner to perform well, because that will enable them to form the government. But at the same time, they also fear that if their party is not able to perform better compared to their alliance partner, they might lose the claim for the chief minister. So you want your partner to perform well, but not as well as your party is performing, because if that happens, then you lose the
Right.
claim for a chief ministerial position. So very different two kinds of contest going on at the same time.
Yeah. So, how crucial is this election for Mr. Uddhav Thackeray? Because I think, like you said, that this is the first election that is being contested in Maharashtra with an NCP that's been split and with the Shiv Sena that's been split. Two significant parties that have defined Maharashtra's politics. So you have Sharad Pawar at stake. You have Mr. Uddhav Thackeray's popularity, his standing in national politics at stake here.
So absolutely, for Uddhav Thackeray, while we keep saying every election is do and die battle for political party and for leader, but look at the situation. Uddhav Thackeray's party has been hijacked by the Shinde group. Shinde group Shiv Sena has been recognized officially, formally as the real Shiv Sena. So
Right.
now he has been mentioning that we will take the fight to the people's court. And now this is the last chance for Uddhav Thackeray to establish the legacy, to reclaim the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray, to let people know that even though formally Shinde group of Shiv Sena may have been recognized as the official Shiv Sena, but if Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena manages to perform well, they would be able to convince the people that this is the real Shiv Sena, and this whole blame that he Eknath Shinde has ditched, that will stick. If Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena is not going to perform well, then I think he would find it very, very difficult to re-establish himself in Maharashtra's politics.
Hmm. So even you made a very relevant point about keeping the alliance partners in check. You want the alliance partners to win, but not as loses its capacity to negotiate. We are already seeing that we are already seeing that happening in the Mahayuti alliance. We know that there, as in, the differences are no secret between Mr. Shinde and Mr. Fadnavis, right? So how do you see the BJP maneuvering this relationship, and where do we see Mr. Fadnavis? How do we see Mr. Fadnavis emerge from this election?
See, if you look at the number of seats being contested by BJP and the Shiv Sena, Shinde group of Shiv Sena, I think the first battle has already been won by BJP. BJP is contesting a much larger number of seats now compared to the Shinde group of Shiv Sena.
Right.
So, in all probability, whether if Mahayuti comes to power, BJP would have performed much better, far, far better compared to Sindh's group of Shiv Sena. Because
Okay.
in order to, cross the majority mark. If BJP is contesting 152, 153 seats, BJP must win almost 100 seats or so. So the first battle has been won. There would be a strong contestation for the post of the chief minister, because while Shinde group of Shiv Sena and Shinde himself will try to establish that maybe this election was unofficially, but this was contested in the name of Shinde. He was the sitting chief minister, so he would try and uh, be in chief minister's position. He would try and reclaim. He would try and put forward his claim that he should be made the chief minister. But I don't think that BJP, with a much larger number of seats, is going to concede that position as they have done in Bihar. So that mistake, if they do that, then it is repeating the same mistake which they have done in Bihar. And
Hmm.
I think BJP would still think, if that was the case, if they had to do that, why not? They would have done it in 2019 when Shiv
Right.
Sena was united. So I don't think it is going to be easy for BJP to, leave the position of the chief minister if they manage to perform very well in the assembly elections.
Hmm. And how about MVA? Because again, keeping your alliance partners in check, assuming that in this you get the Thackeray Sena doing much better than say the Congress Party. Is that a possibility?
See, the difficulty is going to come about the chief ministerial position on both the sides. It is not going to be easy on either of the sides. But I think the claims and counter claims for Maharashtra Vikas Agadi is going to be far more difficult because of the size of the coalition. All the three
Right.
partners are contesting more or less equal number of seats.
Mhm.
If they manage to get a majority, I would assume that all the partners would have performed more or less equally, because Shiv Sena is also contesting 95, 96 seats, and NCP is also contesting 89, 90 seats. So if they manage to get a majority, all the alliance partner would have performed more or less equally well. And then it would become very difficult, because you need to have some kind of a benchmark to even discuss this point. So the
Absolutely.
benchmark would be missing. Imagine a
Mhm.
situation: Congress has won 52 seats, Shiv Sena has won 57 seats, and NCP has also won, like 51, 52 seats. How do you decide which party should get the position of the chief minister? In
Right.
Mahayuti, it may be much easier, because anyhow, BJP will emerge as a much bigger party within the alliance if they manage to get a majority. So it may be
Mhm.
much easier, because there would be a benchmark. If you have some kind of a benchmark, that party which has a larger number of seats get the position of the chief minister. So that's
Mhm.
why I think finalizing the chief position of the chief minister would be more difficult for Maharashtra Vikas Agadi Gathbandhan compared to Mahayuti.
So do you think there's a fundamental mistake that the Congress made here? If they because what is being projected by the MVA is not looking like a very stable, a very stable government. It seems like there's going to be a tug of war. There's going to be a power tussle, even if they are able to make the government.
It would certainly be the case, because, as I mentioned, all the three alliance partners are of equal size. So the tug of war
Yeah.
would definitely be there, first for the post of chief minister, and then later on, if they manage to agree on, and which they will have to, if they want to form the government after getting a majority, then the tug of war would be on several issues about how many ministers, which ministry, how many cabinet ministries, how many minister of state. So tug of war, or you can say disagreement on various issues, is going to happen because of the size of the coalition partners.
Right. Let's also look at the two other significant players in this election, Mr. Sharad Pawar and Mr. Ajit Pawar. So, what's your outlook on their political, fortune, or their political future after this election?
See, it is more important for Ajit Pawar, because Sharad Pawar, looking at his age, looking at his inning in politics, maybe this is his last assembly election. But it is important for his party to perform well, so that he is able to, you know, give the baton to someone else in the party, and the party, flourishes, survives, become much stronger. If Sharad Pawar's NCP does not perform well, it would be very difficult for him to even think of who is going to lead the party after him. And I'm saying because of his age and because of his the
Right.
long inning in politics. But for Ajit Pawar, who age is on his side, he has a much longer career left in politics. If he does not perform well, look at the Lok Sabha election. His party managed to get one seat. If his party does not perform well, even in the assembly election, he would get a very raw deal within the Mahayuti alliance. And then what happens? Does he want, in that situation, will he be willing to walk out of the Mahayuti alliance? So a lot of stakes for both Sharad Pawar as well as for Ajit Pawar in these elections.
Okay, and what's at stake for the Congress party, Sanjay ji? Because after the Lok Sabha elections, the Congress party has been on a high, or at least that's what's been projected, right? There has been a new sense of confidence, a new sense of, optimism amongst the party cadres as well. But could could the Maharashtra election derail all of that, or do you see them emerging stronger from this election?
It all would depend upon the result. If Congress manages to perform well, it will not derail. It will make Congress claims much stronger, and Congress will emerge much stronger for the Delhi Assembly election and next year for the Bihar Assembly election. But imagine a situation that Congress doesn't perform very well, then all the euphoria which has got created around Congress revival, first it got punctured in Haryana Assembly election. It will again get punctured in the Maharashtra Assembly election if they don't manage to perform very well.
All right. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji, for that. As in, I've had a power cut, so that's why you see me in a dark frame. So so you're saying that this election is going to be crucial because it could determine which way how politics. Okay, we're just going to take this again. I'm sorry, I completely lost my focus. So okay, we'll just edit this bit out. Okay, so so thank you, Sanjay ji, for that. For that perspective that you've given us. Very quickly, just one final question: or how significant is this election for Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah?
I think we keep discussing every election is important, but imagine if BJP does not perform well, Mahayuti Gadbandhan does not manage to form the government. I don't think it is going to be a big dent for Prime Minister Modi's popularity or even for Amit Shah. But since the elections are going to be more localized, yes, there would be some demoralizing effect for the BJP as a party, for BJP party cadre. But I think BJP has the habit of always looking for the next election. It will have some dent on BJP's morale, BJP party workers' morale, and some dent also on Prime Minister Modi's ability to pull votes. The euphoria which gets created that Prime Minister Modi is always leads the winning side. He is a vote puller. So that perception will get a little bit punctured. But beyond that, I don't think that is going to dent Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah's image in a big way.
Okay, very quickly, Sanjay ji, this is my last question. See, in Haryana, right, a lot of pollsters got it wrong. In fact, everyone got it wrong. Now in Maharashtra, is that as in is what are the other things that the pollsters are going to be watching out for, just to ensure that this time around there are no surprises when it comes to their projection of the number of seats or how the state could perform. What went wrong in Haryana, and any lessons from that for studying Maharashtra as a state?
I have a piece in today's newspaper, prominent newspaper, Hindu, where I have tried to explain what may have gone wrong. I have no idea about other pollsters because if I have not seen a patient has been attended by a different doctor, how do I know what is the ailment with that patient? I can only tell you about my patient if I am a doctor, if I have attended a patient. And I have explained that in great details in today's newspaper, that the big problem is not of getting vote share wrong. If you get the vote share right, if the vote estimates are right in the margin of error, I would not consider it as a very bad poll. Yes, when you convert vote share into seat, that's very tricky. That's a science which we have not been able to, developed very well. And also, our electoral system is first past the post system. So I don't know what pollsters should be doing. I, as a pollster, someone who does opinion polls and post poll surveys, we always try to get a sample which is representative of the people whom we want to study. Even in Haryana and earlier in Chhattisgarh, we got our sample right. It's not that we got our sample wrong. We got a representative sample. Despite that, our vote share estimate was not up to mark as we would have expected. But at the same time, I must also mention our vote share estimate has not been off the mark very widely. One needs to look at these vote share estimate and then figure out what happened in Chhattisgarh. We underestimated BJP, but for all other parties, for Congress, we were on the mark, absolutely on dot. In Haryana, our vote share estimate for BJP was 2.8% less, and for Congress, we overestimated by 2.8%. 3% margin of error is well within the range of margin of error. I'm not saying endorsing that our poll was a absolutely fantastic poll, but it was not as bad as some people tend to believe. This is all in public domain that we estimated 37% votes for BJP. BJP ended up getting 39.8% vote. In
Right.
Haryana. For Congress, we said 42% vote, and Congress ended up getting 39.2% vote. It is plus 2.8 and minus 2.8. That's the vote estimate. So I'm not sure what other pollsters are going to do. But yes,
Right.
we are a little more careful because there are larger number of political parties. Larger the number of political parties, greater the challenge. So yes, for us, it is a much bigger challenge, and we are
Mhm.
just trying to work hard on to overcome that challenge.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji, for that perspective. Like we said, that this is an extremely complicated state, and at the moment, it's looking like a close call. Of course, we will keep analyzing and we will keep bringing our viewers with more unfiltered conversations around the state of Maharashtra. From what Sanjay ji has said today, it is looking like a very tight and a very close contest. And like we said, political fortunes of leaders like Mr. Sharad Pawar and Mr. Uddhav Thackeray will be determined by this election. This is turning out to be a local election where the Hindu pride has been invoked, but it is also a lot about the Marathi pride. Well, we'll keep bringing you more analysis on the state of Maharashtra. We'll keep bringing you more analysis on the state, and of course, we'll get you comment us your thoughts and feedback on Money Control. Thank you.